You've been lied to by cartoons, textbooks, and even your grandma. You think bulls hate red, that owls can turn their heads all the way around, that touching a toad gives you warts. Not so fast. These facts have slithered, hopped, and squawked their way into everyday belief, but most of them are just plain wrong. Welcome to Mega Fact Attack, where today we're busting some of the biggest animal myths that everyone still believes are true. These aren't just harmless fun facts gone wrong, they change how we treat animals, view their behavior, and even how we fear or admire them. Let's separate the fake from the fact, starting with one of the most famous horned misunderstandings in history. Thanks to every cartoon matador ever, we've been led to believe that bulls charge at the color red. In reality, bulls are colorblind to red. What actually gets them charging is movement. The waving of the matador's cape, regardless of its color, is what triggers their reaction. Studies show that bulls, like many cattle, are dichromatic. They mainly see shades of blue and yellow. So why red capes? Tradition, mostly. Red is dramatic and hides bloodstains during a bullfight. But if you waved a polka dot beach towel with enough flair, the bull would be just as annoyed. Moral of the story, it's not the red that makes them mad, it's you. Red capes, flaring tempers, it's all about illusion. But if you think that's strange, wait until you hear what owls can do with their necks, or rather, what they can't do. This myth says owls can spin their heads a full 360 degrees, like something out of a horror movie. While it looks like they're doing a complete exorcist-style spin, that's not anatomically possible, and thankfully, not true. In reality, owls can rotate their heads about 270 degrees in either direction, about 3/4 of a full turn. Still wildly impressive. This impressive range of motion is made possible by some fascinating structural features in their anatomy. Owls have 14 neck vertebrae. Humans have just 7, allowing for a wide range of motion, but the real magic happens with their circulatory system. When humans or most animals turn their heads too far, blood flow to the brain can get cut off. Owls have evolved specially adapted arteries and a system of backup vessels that keep the blood flowing even when their necks twist dramatically. This means no brain damage or broken necks, just an unbeatable view of their surroundings. Why do they need this ability? Owls can't move their eyes in their sockets, so turning their head gives them a much wider field of vision, perfect for spotting prey in the dark. So, while owls twist their necks to see the world, some myths make us twist the truth entirely. Your mom warned you not to pick up toads. You'll get warts, she said. But here's the truth. Toads don't give you warts. Humans do. Warts are caused by the human papillomavirus, HPV, not amphibians. Toads do have bumpy, wart-like skin and special glands that release toxins as a defense, but none of those bumps are contagious. The myth probably started because of those visible bumps, and over time, the warning turned from "don't touch gross things" into an urban legend. To be clear, you still shouldn't go around licking toads. Some species are poisonous, but touching one won't turn your hands into a dermatological horror show. Now, let's dig into another myth that's just as strange. This one's a real classic. When scared, ostriches supposedly stick their heads in the sand to hide. But if they really did that, they'd suffocate in minutes. In reality, ostriches don't bury their heads. Ever. When threatened, they either run at up to 45 miles per hour or drop to the ground and flatten their neck to blend in with the terrain. From a distance, it might look like they've buried their heads, but that's just clever camouflage. The myth might also come from the way ostriches dig shallow nests in the ground for their eggs. When they lean in to turn or inspect the eggs, it can seem like they're burying their heads. So no, they're not bird brain, they're just misunderstood. But misunderstandings in the animal world don't stop there. Some get downright creepy. Like the idea that spider moms eat their own babies. This disturbing myth has been around for ages, that spider moms give birth and then immediately devour their babies. It sounds like something out of a horror film, but for most spiders, it's simply not true. Most spider moms are surprisingly devoted caregivers. Some carry their egg sacs with them, guard their young after hatching, or even share food until the babies are ready to live independently. For example, wolf spider moms tote their spiderlings on their back, keeping them safe until they're ready to venture out. In many cases, once the young are strong enough, they simply go their separate ways. So while spider motherhood might be strange by human standards, cannibalistic parenting is not the norm in the eight-legged world. Speaking of misunderstood mothers, birds have their own myth to deal with, one that's been scaring kids away from baby nests for decades. There's a long-standing myth that if you touch a baby bird, the mother will smell human scent and abandon it. Sounds tragic, but it's completely false. Most birds have very poor sense of smell, especially songbirds. They aren't likely to notice your scent, and even if they did, they don't just abandon their babies on a whim. Birds are committed parents. They'll keep feeding and caring for their chicks even if you've handled them, especially if the chick is placed back in the nest quickly. So if you see a baby bird on the ground, don't panic. It might be a fledgling learning to fly, but if it's in danger or too young to survive alone, returning it to its nest is usually the right move. Let's switch gears from gentle feathers to razor-sharp fins. This myth gets repeated like it's straight out of a horror movie. One drop of blood in the ocean and a shark will come from miles away. While sharks have an incredible sense of smell, the idea that they can detect a drop of blood from miles away is an exaggeration. Sharks can detect 1 part per 10 billion in water, meaning yes, they're sensitive, but not psychic predators sniffing you from the next continent. Currents, water temperature, and proximity all affect how well a shark can detect blood, and not all blood smells the same. Fish blood is far more enticing than human blood to most sharks. Also, most sharks aren't interested in humans. Attacks are rare and usually cases of mistaken identity, not a blood-fueled feeding frenzy. In short, impressive noses, yes. Bloodhounds of the sea, quite. With sharks, the truth is less terrifying than the myth. But with lemmings, the myth is downright bizarre. Tiny rodents supposedly throwing themselves off cliffs when their population booms. Totally false, and Disney even helped spread it. Let's unpack where this strange story comes from. In the 1958 documentary White Wilderness, filmmakers staged scenes of lemmings being pushed off a cliff to dramatize their migration. The footage stuck in pop culture and created one of the most famous animal myths ever. In truth, lemmings do migrate when food is scarce, and yes, sometimes they accidentally drown while crossing rivers, but they're not suicidal. They're just following instinct and terrain, not jumping out of existential despair. From cliff-jumping rodents to slow-motion tree dwellers, animals often get stuck with the strangest reputations. Take sloths, for example. Often called lazy, but they're actually masters of energy conservation. Their slow pace isn't due to lack of motivation, but rather a highly specialized metabolism. Sloths survive on a low-calorie diet of leaves, which are hard to digest and provide minimal energy. To make the most of this limited fuel, sloths have evolved to move slowly and deliberately, conserving energy at every turn. And despite popular belief, they don't sleep all day. Some species average just 8 to 10 hours of sleep, which is less than many household pets. Their chill lifestyle isn't about slacking off, it's how they manage a low-energy lifestyle while staying hidden from predators. Finally, let's switch from slow movers to long-legged legends. You've probably heard this one. Daddy longlegs are the most venomous spiders in the world. They just can't bite humans. It's wrong on both counts. First off, we need to clarify. Are we talking about cellar spiders or harvestmen? Because the name daddy longlegs gets applied to both. Harvestmen, which aren't spiders at all, have no venom. Cellar spiders do have venom, but it's weak and harmless to humans. And yes, they can bite, but their fangs are tiny and rarely pierce human skin. If they do, the bite is no worse than a mosquito nip. So no, you're not harboring a deadly assassin in your bathroom corner, just a very misunderstood roommate. From colorblind bulls to misunderstood spiders, these myths show just how far stories can stray from science. We tend to simplify the animal kingdom into bite-sized facts, but nature isn't that tidy, and that's what makes it fascinating. Thanks for watching Mega Fact Attack. If you've enjoyed debunking these wild myths, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the truth with your fellow fact fanatics. Got an animal myth we missed? Drop it in the comments. We might just feature it in a future episode. Until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and never stop digging for the weirdest truths.